The question is, did these gentlemen ever think about flying into space before the announcement of Project Mercury was made? Is this basically the question? Would you mind starting and we'll work down?
I've been at the Flight Test Center for the last 4 years, and we have numerous writers out there off and on interviewing X-15 pilots and so forth. And the last time Martin Caden was out there, which was about 3 to 4 months ago, he asked me this same question as to whether I would like to be the first man in space. And this was before I'd ever heard of Project Mercury, of course. And I told him at that time that I would give my left arm to be the first man in space. I think that's the best way I can answer your question.
In answer to the question, for my particular case, the answer is definitely yes. I have been following the developments as closely as I can from my present duty outside of the program. And I think that all of us here, being technically minded and having had the flight test experience, have thought about it. I don't think there's any question but what we all have thought about space flight. I think that I was enthusiastic about the program from the start. I enthusiastically volunteered. I had no difficulty in making my decision. It took no time whatsoever once they asked me to participate in the elimination program. Yes, I had been following it before.
Had you any inclination of being thrown into space?
Oh, I misunderstood you. I'm sorry. I think very definitely. All of us have been involved in programs similar to this. This isn't anything different.
I think I can answer that simply. All of us in this room probably have read comic strips such as Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, Jules Verne routines, and if we had interest in reading things like this, obviously we had intentions of following something like this in our lifetimes. I will readily admit that I didn't think it was coming this soon. But in flying aircraft, we've been striving to get higher and higher. You've heard of releases on airplanes such as the Lockheed 104 and the Navy Grumman F-11F that have gone to quite high altitudes. Space, to any one of us, really begins at about 22 to 25,000.
Picture taking place.
At 22 to 25,000 feet, we can't live without survival equipment. So we really are in space. We've been flying in space as far as our environment goes for many years. But as far as going higher, that's just one more step.
Well, I'm just going to say yes, and for a long time. Been much interested.
I've been much interested for a long time, too. I think of a specific example, though, in direct answer to your question of where I really felt this desire or this inclination to really get into space flight. We did considerable work, or we're doing some work, when I was back at the test center at Patuxent down here, Naval Air Test Center, on zoom flight work, where you're getting up all the speed you can and trying to optimize your flight path for getting the maximum altitude out of an airplane on the zoom climb. And on that, I don't think I ever made a zoom climb on the airplane, and I didn't have a feeling of, boy, if I just had some more power to bloop this thing on out a little bit. So I think to give you a specific answer on a period like that is when I have really felt I would want to go on out, and I've been interested in it for a long time.
Yes, I have too. I've entertained thoughts for some years of possibilities of space flight.
Yes and yes.